your leadership. And God, I pray for all the city employees. I pray for the city manager and all the employees that work so hard every day to keep the city running. God, pray that you bless them in a mighty way. And God, we ask your blessings upon this meeting tonight. And we'll give you the honor and the glory. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chaplain, thank you for that tonight, sir. All right. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Glad to see y'all with us. First thing tonight, additions, deletions, modifications. I don't see any. City manager, are you aware of any?
None from staff, sir.
Commission, do y'all have any?
I have one. I'd like to add a discussion and possible direction to the staff. Evaluate potential service consolidation, shared resources, and cooperative agreements with other government and government agencies.
Make sure I got that right. So you want to recommend discussion of possible collaborations?
Evaluate, basically you can put possible direction to staff to evaluate potential service consolidation.
Possible consolidation, service consolidations, okay? All right. Any other additions or deletions for tonight? City attorney?
No, sir, that would just require a motion to.
No, I understand. I'm just asking if there are any others. Before we go any further, I want to especially welcome Commissioner Judy Tenderback, ma'am. Great to have you back with us. This lady has battled heart surgery. She literally attended 2 city commission meetings from her hospital bed, literally in the hospital, and still continued to be with us. Ma'am, very glad to see you doing better and with us back.
Thank you so much. I have to, I hate to do it and start out with a complaint, but I got to tell you, when you call in, you can't understand anything anybody's saying. So I will be asking repeat questions tonight from the last meetings that I wondered what you were all talking about.
Well, we will have to do our best with the IT folks to try to get that fixed for future dial-ins. But welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome home. And with that, so we have Commissioner Warwick's potential modification to add. And where did you want to add that, Commissioner Warwick?
It doesn't matter to me.
A
Guess
new
under
business?
New business.
Okay, so new business, say a new number 12.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
I would like to, I think for the mission statement one, I think we should, I'm not opposed to it, but I think we should pull it so that in case we want to modify anything more than just one word, maybe we want to talk about the entire mission statement while we're here. That's not to say that I'm against why it's there. I'd have no problem with changing the wording. I'm just thinking maybe this could be a time that we want to look at all the wording and see if we want to modify it just a little bit here and there.
So Commissioner Peebles, would you like to move that from the consent agenda to perhaps say new business number 13 then?
Works for me.
Okay. So number 13, mission statement discussion. All right. Is this, assuming this is
Do it all in
amenable
one
with the
motion.
rest of the commission here, can I get a motion in a second?
Motion to approve.
All right, I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the public regarding this up front? Consent agenda, we're actually on the additions, deletions, and modifications right now. We're going to take number 7, the mission statement, and drop it down to number 13 under new business. Number 12 will be Commissioner Warwick's request for service consolidations discussion. So no other changes to the agenda. We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or concerns from the public? Hearing none. City Manager, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick,
Yes.
Mayor Lowry.
Yes. So we have 5-0. Thank y'all for that. All right. So we're down to the consent agenda, which is approval of our meeting minutes for 5/26 of 26. Approve to declare truck number 22 as surplus and authorize staff to auction off through govdeals.com. And approve to declare assets 309 and 4523 as surplus and authorize staff to auction off to govdeals.com, with number 7 drop down to number 13. So that's only, if you're looking at our consent agenda, it would be numbers 4, 5, and 6.
Mayor,
Ma'am.
if I may ask, what exactly is the asset 3901 and 4523? What assets are those?
Yes, ma'am.
So-
City manager?
Yes, ma'am. Asset 3901 is a 2013 Ford Explorer, and asset 4523 is a 2019 Ford Explorer. Both are police vehicles.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So, any questions or concerns, discussion among the commission for these 3 items for the consent agenda? Hearing none. If not, may I have a motion and a second?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any concerns or discussion from the public? Hearing none. City manager, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Mayor Lowry.
Yes. Thank y'all for that. 5-0. All right, we're on down to old business now. Number 8, final reading of ordinance 1187 Finch Small Scale FLUMA, parcel number 10223-000-000.
Yes, sir. Mayor, ordinance 1187, an ordinance providing for the adoption pursuant to Chapter 163 Florida statutes of a land use change from mobile home park to mixed use for an approximate 3.402 plus or minus acres of property located at 201 West 14th Street, parcel number 10223-000-000 in the city of Lynn Haven, Bay County, Florida, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith and providing an effective date. And this is just the final reading from 2 meetings ago for the land use change for the parcel behind Walgreens there.
Yes, sir. All right. Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry. I was looking at your face and got totally sidetracked. Property behind Walgreens.
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you say you wanted to go from and to?
He's going from mobile home park land use to a mixed use land use.
So businesses and a little bit of everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion from the commission? If not, can I get a motion and a second to approve?
I'll
Make a
motion to
motion.
approve.
Second.
I got 2 motions and a second there, so I'm happy being double covered. Thank y'all for that. We'll give Ms. Tender credit for that, and I heard Commissioner Peebles second there, CJ. Thank you, Commissioner Perno, for adding in as well. So we have a motion and a second. Any concerns or discussion from the public? This item. Hearing none. City manager, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick,
Yes.
Mayor Lowry.
Yes. Thank y'all for that. All right, we have no tabled items tonight. Now we're down to new business. We're moving right along at a nice clip tonight. Number 9, discussion and possible approval of the updated non-discrimination assurance document and policy. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. This item, this non-discrimination policy and documents was issued several years ago since we applied for a certification by DOT in order to receive grant funds from DOT. So this is really a housekeeping item. We've been updating some of the points of contact that are listed in these documents. And, you know, every 2 to 3 years, it's just a good way to update these information and resubmit it to DOT so that we can maintain our certification status with them.
Thank you for that, sir. Any questions or comments from the commission? None?
No, looked good to me.
Basically administrative and housekeeping in nature?
Yes, sir.
No issues or concerns?
Not at all.
All right. So at this point, you're ready to ask the city commission for an approval?
Yes, that would be one recommendation for me is to approve the presented document or the documents as presented.
Okay. Obviously,
Make a motion?
I have a motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any concerns or discussion from the public on item number 9 tonight? It's like the ERA director said, this is or CRA, I'm sorry, said this is administrative and housekeeping in nature. No issues or concerns. Hearing none. City manager, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick,
Yes.
Mayor Lowry.
Yes, thank you all for that. All right, we're down to number 10, discussion of potential updates to Part IA, Chapter 42, Parks and Recreation of the city's Code of Ordinance. Commissioner Peebles.
Thank you, Mayor. As we discussed a few meetings ago, that we're going to start going through the ordinances again, and we talked about, I think it was staff that recommended we start with Chapter 42. Amy Myers went through and made some corrections in which you should have in front of you, and then I added some notes of my own, which I believe were provided to you guys. I'm pretty sure. So if you looked at those, but I'll go ahead and go over them. I kind of just want to. There's some like kind of updates that myself and Amy kind of saw that definitely need to happen, just simply because a lot of our ordinances, like we've discussed in the past, are very, very old. I think some of them, the most recent they've been updated is 1996. And though I'd like to believe that's not a long time ago, it was. I have vivid memories from 1996, and that I don't like that. All right, so I guess I'll just go down the list. I have my notes here in front of me. If we go to 42-2, it talks about the Department of Leisure Services. I do not believe we technically have a Department of Leisure and Services anymore.
Yeah, that's been changed to the community services and split between community services and sports and rec.
Okay. So basically, we need to update that section to whatever department we want to say there, if it's split between the both or whatever. In section 42-3, it's talking about vehicles and parking. One thing that this is something I've personally noticed. This is talking about, no overnight parking in area that's otherwise posted. No motorized vehicle shall be allowed in any portion of recreational facility other than designed roads or park. Very, very straightforward stuff that you'd have at any city. But one thing I think we should add, at least for now, is that you cannot take up more than 2 parking spots at a sports facility. The reason being is I get some vehicles like the dualies trucks. It makes sense to take 2 parking spots because the truck's so wide. But there's been multiple instances, like on softball and baseball days, where people have a truck with a trailer and take up like 4 or 5 parking spots. And we already deal with parking issues over there already. And you have people like parking on our grass in the right of ways and things like that. And I do think we should probably enforce that. So that's my suggestion for that one.
How about parking with the flow of traffic, not against it too? Because you'll find that sometimes people park in opposite directions when they're coming from another way to try to get in. So it needs to be consistent with our already existing ordinances.
Right. And again, this is more so, I agree with that. And I'll be honest with you, until I was an adult, I didn't know that was the law in most places. So it's my opinion that when it comes to codes and ordinances, it should be straightforward and more so of a rule book that's understandable by both parties, code enforcement and the citizens. This is more so that the citizens can go to the ordinances, be able to read it and say, okay, I know what that means. That's what we're supposed to do. This isn't to add more rules to anybody. It's more to make it to where people can't inconvenience others just for the sake of them being lazy and not wanting to take their trailer off and go home. Things like that. You know what I'm saying? So 42-5, I don't know. This is a larger discussion that I don't know if we want to tackle it tonight. Maybe we'll tackle it in the future. This is the alcoholic beverages, that you can't consume them in the park. I know that, Mr. Scray has been a big advocate of allowing it in certain situations for events. So I don't really want to put that in this ordinance right now, because I feel like that's a much larger discussion on if we want to do that with, not all the time. I think his idea was in special events with special permits, very specific to a certain amount of whatever. That's a discussion that should be had, but I don't think that we need to have that tonight, because that's an hour-long discussion for a workshop maybe. So we'll leave that one be for now. But Ryan, if you're listening, I hear you. And the others that want that for events, I hear you. This is not me saying that we're never going to talk about it. It's just we'll talk about it at a different time. Let's see, 42-8. It's talking about public behavior.
Is that where the noise comes in with the radios and generators and?
Yeah, yeah, and it's talking about it's unlawful to incite or participate in riots, indulge in boisterous, abusive, threatening, incident, or disorderly conduct or behavior in any city park or recreational facility. Anyone in violation of this regulation may be forcibly ejected from the park or recreational facility or arrested and shall not be entitled to a refund of any fee or rental.
It sounds like a lot of pickup basketball games I've been in, though.
Yeah. I would say that I think Amy made a note. Basically, the reason I made a note for this is kind of redundant to something that's already in there. And I sent a note to her that said, I think this should still be in there. I'd rather leave information like this in our ordinances rather than take it away, because I want it to be easier for the average citizen that maybe hasn't looked at ordinances before to be able to find what the rules are easier. Okay, so in 42-12, we're talking about hold on, I just lost my place. Jumping over. Oh, audio devices.
Yes, the radios and speakers,
Yeah.
generators.
Mm-hmm. So we got an email recently that talked about how when people were playing pickleball over in the sports complex, that there were people that, I don't know if it was teenagers or adults, I have no idea, but they were pulling up in their vehicles and honking at them on purpose to disrupt their games. I don't know if we want to add something in there that talks about intentionally
Disruption.
intentional disruptions of sanctioned activities or something like that.
Sporting events.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just an idea. We don't have to put that in writing, but maybe that's something that can be written up in this ordinance that we can review later.
Yeah, I would definitely say to leave like the generators and the noise producing devices alone.
Yeah.
If we host tournaments there, a lot of the travel ball teams, whether it's baseball or softball or soccer, they use generators for their tents, for the fans and stuff during game breaks. So I would definitely say to leave that alone.
For sure. I'm more talking about in addition to, because the kids love that stuff. It brings a lot of camaraderie to the sport. So yeah.
I was merely curious how the radio decibel level would be enforced, because as it stands right now, as it's written, I believe what it said was if it's loud enough to disrupt another person partaking of the facilities, right?
Right.
You and I could be this close to each other, and what may be good for you may be really loud for me, and vice versa, right? Or somebody with their entire car rattling like a jukebox on wheels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where do we draw that line?
Yeah.
How do we update that properly and fairly, right?
Yeah, that's the hard part, because I don't want to we don't want to create unnecessary arguments. You know what I'm saying? We want to have something that's clear. So if we can't come up with something that is clearly defined, then obviously leave it out, because I don't want to create confusion for code enforcement or the citizens that's trying to figure out the rule.
All right, but then again, for when folks go to the city park and want to enjoy the park, you want them to be able to have a clear set of rules that everybody needs to abide
Yes.
by and not have bad actors.
Yes.
That you can't
Yes.
say, you know what, you're showing your butt, you got to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely need, if you don't have something in place, you can't enforce it. Yeah. So in section 42, oh no, sorry, I skipped one. 42-13, this is where we would talk about the closing hours of the parks. This is really what drove talking about this section. Amy updated it where it talks about the ramp, the boat ramp, and the bridge already. So those notes are in there already, which is great because we need to have those based on the feedback given by the deputy chief and chief. But one thing that we didn't really talk about was the actual hours of the parks. So what do you say? I don't know. We need to put a time in there. 10 p.m.
Didn't we discuss that 30 minutes before dark or sunset?
So we discussed it, but we didn't, and no one decided what to put in the hours. We would like it to be consistent amongst all parks. That way we're not saying this park is sunset, this park is 10 p.m., this park is 9 p.m. So whatever you all decide as hours, we do allow people to play pickleball at the sports complex until 10 p.m. So utilizing the 10 or the 10:30 p.m. would be pretty consistent across the board.
Yeah, they have lights out there for the pickleball. And then there's a basketball court out there that has lights too. So if we want to have it the same across every park, you want to say 10 since that's when they do that pickleball?
Coincides with the noise ordinance as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, but we'll have the boat ramp still open, and we'll have the bridge still open for those that like to walk the bridge at night.
Until
And
10 o'clock.
no, afterwards you can still, after 10 o'clock you can still.
if you're fishing, there is no time. If you're utilizing the bridge or the boat ramp, it's open 24/7.
This is more a question for you. Should we have an opening time too?
We would recommend an opening time, yes, sir. And that would be probably 6:30 a.m. or 7 a.m., whatever you all decide.
Okay. I used to run at like 6. I don't run anymore. I got bad knees. But when I used to run, I would prefer it to be as early as possible. So maybe 6.
6 a.m. Okay.
And then the 42-15 is talking about personal injuries and accidents. It's of my opinion, and I would like everyone's feedback, but I honestly think we kind of should probably remove this because we already, I mean, I don't know. This may be an HR question, but this doesn't hold up in court anyways. Like if someone gets injured in our park, they're just going to sue us and they could win whether this is here or not. So I don't know. I don't know if this is an added layer of protection. You want me to read it? Would that make it easier for you? Because I already have it up. Or do you have? Okay.
What else?
Okay. Oh, so in 42-17, or it might be 16, it's talking about having a fishing permit to fish, but we don't offer them. So we need to update it to say maybe just a generalized have a fishing permit or have a permit from wherever you get, because you can get a fishing permit at Walmart, but we don't want to say that come to our office and get a fishing permit from us because we don't do that.
Yeah, I think it was defined to be something totally different than a fishing license. I assume maybe years ago they required you to have a permit that the city sold to fish off the bridge or fish from the park. That's not even in our fee schedule, so I'm not sure where that language came from. I would say we strike that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, 42-22. It talks about a background screening policy. Do we even have one of those? Like an official policy? On doing background screenings of all volunteers, vendors, coaches.
Oh. Yes.
Okay. Maybe we should, in the future, just add that to our list of things to go over. It's not very good. Yeah.
All right.
And there's one last thing that, I mean, I have quite a few notes, but it's more like stuff for Amy. That's not really, we need to talk about. It was more like she asked a question, I gave my opinion, which all of you are welcome to do as well, obviously. The final thing is, this is more a suggestion since I spend so much time at the sports complexes. At Ken Griffin in the sports complex, during game time, there's a huge amount of people in one small area. And that tends to, from a risk management standpoint, okay, bad actors try to go for the most damage with the least amount of effort. So in my opinion, that we should have it in policy that if we have a sanctioned sport event, that you have to have at least one police officer there. It's not written in our policy. I think it should be. Because it is written in our policy that staff members are there and they can reprimand. But when you have, a 19-year-old college student out there with, full-grown adults that are already ramped up because their kids are playing ball, what is a staff? I mean, if I'm a 19-year-old and someone comes and yells at me, I'm just like, okay, all right, whatever, So I think we should have it in the policy that we have at least one officer for every sanctioned sport event.
So I think that would definitely require some more in-depth conversation, especially during the budget time.
Yes.
But if we did that, we would have to have two police officers, one for Kane, one for the sports complex, and potentially one at the gym if you do it for sanctioned sports events. Because if you had a volleyball league going the same time you had baseball and softball or adult kickball leagues going, that could potentially be 3 police officers on overtime that evening to cover, because we can't pull 3 off of their shift being on patrol, or it may be a cheaper alternative to do a security company or something.
My counter argument is that it just pull them off of patrol, because having a police officer at a sports event is way more important than having them on patrol. I mean, you may have a car accident. You could have an active shooter at a sports event.
So, but if we only have 4 officers on duty that are making the rounds, and we have 3 of them at sporting events, and we have a domestic call or something, then we only have 1 officer that can respond to that. So it may be better to look at a third-party security company or something that could give us the hours from 5 to 9 p.m. at those facilities versus having an officer do it. We get some pricing on that and look at the alternatives.
All right.
And can I ask a question then? If you did that, hired a security company, they're not legally. They legally can't do anything except step in and say, now stop. They'd have to call our police officers anyway, right? If it was if it was a real offense. I don't think security, I don't know, my opinion, we need police officers there, but you're right. Somebody pulls a gun and shoots somebody, then we have an issue in more ways than one. Did we ever finish the discussion? And again, this is because I couldn't hear. Did we ever finish the discussion about, it was something you really want. About charging the out-of-town people.
Oh yeah, we've been in discussions about how to work that.
Have we voted on that or done anything about it?
So yeah, a few meetings ago, we officially voted in the sponsorship policy. So we have it in policy now. Now staff is working on a way to have like a real step-by-step way to be able to make that happen.
To charge out of town players and stuff?
we got two things here. We got sponsorships. That's what I was talking about there.
Okay.
As far as what the charging a little bit more, that'll come up whenever we vote on the fee schedule. So if we want to do that, then it would be during budget conversations. You'd look at the fee schedule. And right now, like baseball, for example, baseball and softball, I think basketball too, they charge an extra $10 already.
And yeah, the outside, the Lynn Haven resident, like for youth flag football, Lynn Haven resident is $85. A non-Lynn Haven resident is $95. For youth baseball and softball, Lynn Haven resident is like 60 for wee ball, 70 for non-Lynn Haven residents, and it goes up for every division. So that was already past the last fee schedule update.
Are you satisfied with $5?
I think we just need to, we just kind of need to put our heads together and do some math and figure out. I think my suggestion is, and I know Justin does this already, but we can take some load off of him, is look at the county and other cities and see what they're doing. Because now we've got the Bay Counties opening up parks. We've got Panama City's opening up more parks. We already have, in my opinion, the best sports. We should not be charging less than someone else. So we should do our research and figure out what they're charging. My idea, though, the main idea is that if we need to charge extra, the brunt should be on people that are using our stuff without paying tax dollars towards it like we are. Does that make sense? Which I know you agree.
So, and after our budget workshop the other day, we did an analysis on the information we could find. Lynn Haven, compared to Panama City and Panama City Beach, we do charge more for each of our leagues. So we are already a little bit higher than the rest. Didn't have any information on the county. Their stuff is not the municipal related. It's ran by a board, like the Southport Ball Fields and Harders leagues.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for that discussion tonight. Obviously, it's one of many chapters, and it's going to be a very visible one because it utilizes our parks for birthdays and cookouts and family reunions and all that kind of stuff. So more to come, but thank you for taking the lead on that one and continuing to work with our city attorneys on that endeavor.
Mayor, we will incorporate Commissioner Peebles' changes, and if any of you have any other changes, if you would email them to us, and we will get with Mr. Jackson and Ms. Myers and get those incorporated so that we can bring it back to the commission for approval.
Thank you for that. Any other inputs, you guys? Yes,
I
ma'am.
just want to make a statement. I see no reason why any adult should have alcoholic beverages at a children's baseball game.
That is not the intent, I promise. I do not foresee that ever happening.
Okay. Okay. Well, you had mentioned it.
No, it was when about a year ago, it was brought up about doing a special event permit. So let's say if you had, there was a third party that put on an event that was a concert and they had, they can serve alcohol, like a ticket where you can get one beer that's under 5% alcohol or something like that. Like very, very restricted. That was the idea, if I remember properly. It's not my idea, so I might be misquoting. But yeah, I don't believe the intent was ever to just free range, everyone just show up and get boozy. I don't think that was the idea because, yes, I'm very anti having alcohol at children's events.
Okay. Good. I'm glad to hear that.
May help with some budget deficits there, Commissioner.
Well, thank y'all for that. And, good discussion, Commissioner Peebles. Thank you for bird dogging that. Number 11, discussion on directing staff to prepare an ordinance for a one-year moratorium on any potential AI data center relocations to Lynn Haven. So this one I asked to be put on the agenda. You ladies and gentlemen have been following the news in Jackson County. Walton County has actually come online as well and said no for a one-year moratorium. For those of you that may have missed it, last Tuesday night, the Bay County Commission also discussed, and they plan on voting at their next meeting to do a potential one-year countywide, Bay County-wide moratorium on AI centers. I've actually discussed individually with a couple of the county commissioners and said, hey, I'm looking to bring this to Lynn Haven as well. Just for the record, we don't have any AI centers or any data centers like that looking to relocate to Lynn Haven. But we are just now starting a complete rewrite and overhaul of our ULDC, our Universal Land Codes. We have a new planning director, Ms. Grand Prix, who is here and amazing. We're going to be involving our planning committee as well on that, as well as the city commission. So we have a lot of work to do to take care of our own ordinances. But I felt like having a 1-year formal city level moratorium would be appropriate for us to discuss and do. The individual county commissioners that I approached about this, I said, would you consider this disrespectful if we as a city, even though you're looking to do one of these as a county, we could do our own in parallel with you? And they said, no, not at all. You certainly could do that. But of course, if the Bay County does a countywide moratorium, it wouldn't negate ours, but it basically overwrites it, right? So, but we could still do one at our city level. There are a lot of concerns. I'm sure most of you guys and ladies have been following the news. There's a lot of environmental concerns with fresh water usage and electrical rates and all sorts of things. We would realistically, and city attorney, you may be able to give some extra insight here, but generally a 1-year moratorium or freeze on anything like this up front seems to be the legally permissible way of doing this in Florida for municipalities. If you tried to do it for extended periods beyond that, you kind of get on shaky ground. But it would if we do a 1-year moratorium on this would give us the opportunity to get our ULDC updated, our ordinances updated, and have a much better level playing field and up-to-date rule book before any potential future AI center proposals came to Lynn Haven or to our area. Do you have any thoughts on that you'd like to share?
No, Mayor, that's the procedure is the commission to take any kind of banning or moratorium would need findings to determine that the commission wanted to do that and what the findings were. And in order to do that, you'll have to do a study, have the planner or the city staff look at it and come back to the commission with findings. So the proper process would be to go ahead and you could do a short moratorium while you conduct the study. Up to a year is typically fine. And then after that, you'd have to take some action, either continue going, put the restrictions in place, or don't take any action.
Thank you for that, Mr. Jackson. So just to be clear, the intent of what I'm bringing is for us to parallel and partner with the Bay County Commission and have us largely mirror their proposal of the 1-year moratorium to prevent AI centers from being able to roll into Lynn Haven for us, Bay County for the County Commission. So with that, I want to open up the floor for any discussion or thoughts y'all might have amongst the commission or city manager.
So the only thing I would add, Mayor, is I do believe that the county's motion died for the moratorium. They've got some more research to do before they present it. So I would say if we're going to mirror what the county does, then we should wait to see what they do. I will say from a staff level, we don't have a concern with data centers. One, we don't have the land in the city that they could go on. Two, if they submit a development order for that, they would have to go through the utility capacity analysis. You mentioned the extreme water usage that they're rumored to use. If we couldn't supply water or sewer capabilities for them, then they couldn't even get through the development order process. It would be recommended for denial. So where we stand right now, we're very comfortable with data centers will not be an issue in the city of Lynn Haven. But I would say that we wait to see how the county handles theirs and then go from there.
Fair enough. I appreciate the inputs. City commissioners, any thoughts?
I'm on board with what you're saying. I guess my question would be, really, do we want to wait on the county so that it's at the same timeline? If it's a limit of 1 year and ours ends before theirs ends, what would happen?
Well, if we were to do, let's say we approve one tonight or at our next meeting, right? We direct staff to draft i.e. the city attorney and city manager to draft us a 1-year moratorium effective our next meeting, we approve it. if the county commission comes and joins in a month later, well, there's layers on top of ours, right? And so even if our city moratorium ended 2 weeks or a month before their countywide did, that doesn't negate what we would do.
I would think whatever the county votes on, that only affects unincorporated areas.
Correct.
That's
And
what my
then it
concern
wouldn't
is.
affect ours. Whatever we do would just affect the Lynn Haven. I don't think they work in conjunction.
That's
with
correct.
each
If the
other.
county does a moratorium, it's for the unincorporated Bay County parcels. It's not the Lynn Haven parcels.
So they could not do a county-wide moratorium for all Bay County.
I would defer to Mr. Jackson, but I don't think so.
It is possible. I would think it could be possible for them to preempt local regulations, but it would be difficult. I don't know if our county has ever done that. Generally, it's as Commissioner Warwick and City Manager said that any land use changes or moratoriums would only apply to the unincorporated areas of the county.
Well, that being said, I'd still like for us to go ahead and press forward with this, give ourselves a 1-year breathing space to take a look at this, to allow Miss Grand Prix and company to get our ULDC up to snuff and up to par. And City Manager, to your point, there are very limited places, depending on how big a potential data center could be, if they could even fit within Lynn Haven somewhere. But that being said, I would rather an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So I would still like to proceed with the discussion and a drafting of a 1-year moratorium in lieu of the ULDC being updated as such. So it certainly wouldn't harm or do anything for our current operations, but if anything is to try to come to Lynn Haven within the next year of the moratorium, it gives us the grounds to be able to say no. So those are my thoughts. Any others from the commission?
So tonight, we were just a direction of staff. This isn't a voting item, right?
Correct, yeah. Now, I'm sure we'll have some folks in the public that want to discuss this, and we'll certainly give them an opportunity to do so. But I really wanted to publicly do this amongst us 5 and make sure everybody was on board with this before I just try to charge off on this. It's in alignment with our 2 neighboring counties. I think everybody here in the Panhandle seems to be in pretty violent agreement on this. They have the same concerns. And again, we're only talking a 1-year moratorium that allows us to get our ULDC in place, and then we can press forward from there. Everybody good with a directive to staff to develop as such?
Yeah, my only comment is doing this means that we definitely need to, as a team, get our heads together on the ULDC and get in that mindset of really getting that done.
Agreed. Now, Miss Judy, you were in the hospital when we had this particular meeting. I don't know if you heard this or not, but the analogy I used, us Southerners love our cooking in our kitchens. Miss Grand Prix is amazing. She's been our recent recruit that Mr. Lightfoot was able to hire in from Utah, and she's very impressive in the space. Rather than have 15 cooks in the kitchen with her trying to take lead, what I asked her to do was, hey, you take a hard scrub at the ULDC. You look at the applicable ordinances. You come back to the commission and you tell us what you need, right? So to use the kitchen analogy, she's in the kitchen going to start the roux and the bouillabaisse and all that stuff. When she needs folks to come in and help her wash and clean vegetables and do all that other stuff, we'll jump in and help. But until then, you get started, you tell us where we need to be. When you need inputs and help, by golly, we'll jump in. And then we'll pull the planning commission in, or the planning board in as well, and get them engaged as well. So it'll be a team effort, but Miss Grand Prix is definitely going to be our quarterback. Everybody good with that? All right. Well, thank y'all for that. Now, I know we have some folks that are here and likely want to talk about the AI, and we will certainly make that happen. That literally, unless the board has, or the commission has anything else to do with number 11, we do have number 12 and 13 to add, and then we will open up for public commentary on the data center, the potential moratorium, if y'all want to discuss. Ma'am?
No.
I saw you waving your hand.
Oh, that was just me.
Okay. But we've got two more items we need to knock out, and one of them is number 12, the mission statement. Or excuse me, number 12 is Commissioner Warwick, and then number 13 is the mission statement. So, Commissioner Warwick, do you want to take over on number 12, sir?
Yes, sir. So we had our budget workshop last week, and after having that, it got me thinking of some things that we need to, in my opinion, direct the staff to do, since we're the ones that establish priorities for the city. And this item is not intended to direct staff to consolidate any particular service. Rather, it's intended to direct them to identify opportunities where partnerships, shared resources, cooperative agreements, or consolidation of certain functions could potentially improve efficiency, reduce costs, or enhance service delivery. So, and then once they look at that, any recommendations they have would come back to the commission for discussion before any action is taken. So the whole purpose of this is to give staff direction on this.
So this is a first wave hard look. Hey, if this is a quote unquote, all options are on the table and cost saving opportunities as we try to be proactive moving forward into our all but certain resource lean near-term future, we look at how we can continue to do business smarter, not harder, and more efficiently, right?
Mayor, I would ask if the commission is in agreement that we would prepare a resolution for the June 23rd meeting that would direct staff with this direction to look at all city-provided services and the options of consolidation with other municipalities, Bay County, contractors, whoever, and look at that and bring the resolution back to the commission and get it approved and then start addressing those concerns.
Does any other commissioner want to discuss or share their thoughts on this?
In my opinion, more data is good data. So just because the staff is directed to look at stuff doesn't mean that we've made a decision on it. It's just getting us more information. So more information to me is better, especially this early in the budget season. So.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Perno, Ms. Tender?
I agree with Sam. More information is better to work with.
Commissioner Warwick, thank you for recommending that.
So is there any action we need to take, or do I need to make a motion, or we just wait till the next meeting
And the
for the
commission
resolution?
could make a motion to direct staff to look at it, or we can just bring a resolution back for discussion next meeting about that.
Since you're a honcho on this, which would you prefer?
I'll make a motion to direct staff to look at possibilities of consolidating services and return with a resolution at our next meeting.
Okay. Got a motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, ma'am. So I have a motion and a second. I'll open this to the floor. Any discussion? Come on up, Mr. Langford. Good evening.
Good evening, and thank you for bringing this up. After Thursday's budget workshop, I was pretty frustrated, and I woke up Friday morning more frustrated than I was when I went to sleep Thursday night. But I would ask that you all really take a hard look at some of these things, and the things I'm thinking about, is I think Lynn Haven's got a SWAT team. All right, we really need a SWAT team in Lynn Haven. I'm all for security, but I think Bay County's got one. All right. How much does it cost us to have 2 baseball seasons versus 1? Again, everything's on the table here. We need to start looking at ways that, whether we're talking about overlapping of services, whether it's fire, whether it's police, whether it's sports and recs, we need to look at everything here, because the numbers that I heard on Thursday were staggering. We're talking about city employees potentially going to 4 days a week. That was thrown out. There were some serious things thrown out. Okay. So as staff looks at this, I would probably narrow this down a little bit, because what you guys are voting on is very broad, and that's a start, and it's very important. But I would probably start kind of narrowing this thing down to where we're looking at where we spend the most money in Lynn Haven. fire, police, and so on and so forth down from there. So you guys might want to narrow the scope down in your direction to the city as far as what exactly do you want to talk about. If it's overlapping of services, whether it's first responders or whatever, then let's say that. But they need some clear guidance from you all. And I know Thursday I sat back there in the audience and watched those of you that were here, and man, y'all got punched in the gut by some of these numbers. So, everybody's had a chance to chew on this a little bit and think about it. You might want to start narrowing this scope down, because if not, we're just going to be back here, and I think June 23rd was the date, and we're just going to keep hacking away at this tree until we start narrowing this thing down. Thank you.
Mind if I respond to that?
Yes, sir.
So, just so everyone understands, in the past, the way the budget process used to work was we wouldn't see the budget until about mid to late August, and then we would have to vote on it in September. And this is something I pushed for, I don't know, 2.5 years or so, to change the process so that we could start it earlier. And this is the first year that we've done that, where we started that process earlier. And I'm glad, and I project next year we'll even start it earlier than this. So this isn't a done deal. This is our first stab at it, so we can get this prepared by the time September comes around. We have enough time to look at this and, look at all the different options and make smart decisions. As far as a SWAT team, if I'm not mistaken, we don't have a SWAT team, but I think we have members that are SWAT certified that support the sheriff's office. Am I right on that?
I would defer to Deputy Chief Enfinger to answer that a little better, but while he walks up too, I'm going to say that I took your motion too as really the general fund. I mean, we're already looking at the wastewater utility rates for the, consolidation of the wastewater plant, if that's feasible. You can't consolidate stormwater. So I took that as general fund functions, our parks.
Well, that was what we basically went over at the last budget meeting.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Now, that said, and before Deputy Chief starts to speak, we could add an emphasis there on our direction to staff to focus particularly not only on synergies, but the most cost-saving synergies, right? So let's go after the most overlapping that could generate the largest cost savings, right?
To the general fund.
Right. They may not be the economically sexiest things, but the ones that would generate the most amount of savings for us in a very financially austere near-term future. Deputy Chief.
So we do have a SWAT team at the Lynn Haven Police Department, but they are not just SWAT team members. There's no such thing as a job with us where that's your job is just to be a SWAT team member. So these are all officers that already work on the road that have joined this SWAT team. So they've got all the certifications for that. So they train about 1 day a month. So that's the only additional cost that we have is their training day once a month. All the equipment for that was a big investment for startup, but I mean, we've already bought the guns, already bought the gear, the people in place. So I guess we would, if you eliminated that, we would maybe save some on ammunition and the time that they train whenever they're paid for that 1 day a month. So I just want to make sure nobody thought that we had like a group of people that came in and sat around in camouflage waiting for something to happen, because that's not the case.
Played cards all the time?
Right.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Any questions for the Deputy Chief Commission? All right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Scray, come on up.
Clarification would be appreciated, but I think the intent here is to look at where we're contracting out for services, not necessarily performing in-house. If it's in-house, then that's a whole separate equation I think you need to give direction for. Because, for example, we could probably save about $75,000 by replacing all 5 of you guys and letting the county come run this show. People are out on Facebook talking about that, suggesting that. Do I think that's what's best for our city? No. So I think we need to kind of keep in mind what core essential services are for the city: police, safety, fire, emergency response, potable water and sewer, solid waste collection and disposal, stormwater management and drainage, maintenance of streets and associated infrastructure necessary for emergency access. So that's where a city starts. You got to provide us that. Otherwise, we're not really a city. Even within those areas, there's ways to overlap. You know, Chris mentioned, hey, we can't really do much with the stormwater. You can. He probably already does this. He looks for contracts to piggyback off of to save money, stuff like that, getting better value for our funds. You can do that in other areas too. For example, the landscaping, the mowing operations. Maybe there's somebody who mows elsewhere in the county and we can save money by having them mow with us. There's so many other opportunities. And one thing that we could probably look at consolidating here is, I mean, Mr. Langford said is, do we need 2 baseball seasons a year? Like, how many first round draft picks has Lynn Haven produced? You're the baseball guy, Sam, do you know? Probably not many, if any at all. Baseball's two in 100 and some years, right? So I get it, sports are fun, but until those non-things that I just listed off here, the things that are not listed, until those things are self-funding and we're not having to ask for ad valorem, you know, because we're about to take, I mean, come on, let's be realistic. In November, that referendum's going to pass. I crunched the numbers. I asked for the property appraiser for the numbers. We're going to take a pretty big hit in 27 and 28. I mean, I posted the numbers out on Facebook. If anybody wants them, they're from older, like the 25, 26 mid-year budget, but I think you guys brought up great questions at the budget meeting, but I think what you need to do right here, right now is say, hey, the first goal is to look at services that we know can be duplicated are duplicated and we can leverage other cities, use, you know, resources or contracts of the counties or state stuff. Let's start there because contracts are where you end up spending more money. It's not always cheaper to contract. Sometimes it is cheaper to in-house. So you got to analyze that. I mean, I know you guys know that. So Focus in.
Thank you for that, Mr. Scray. And I'll just respond with one point. One example would be animal control, right? We have an amazing 3-person animal control, Courtney and the 2 Matts. We have a no-kill shelter. They do amazing work. Now, they can put animals to sleep if they come in complete on death's door, right? And they got to put them out of their misery, or it's a public harm. But we have one old pit bull that's been there a couple of years now, and he literally, you know, so I am so proud of our animal control. Do I, in any way, shape, or form, want to let our animal control consolidate with Bay County? No. Could we potentially, long-term, budgetarily, would it make sense? Maybe, maybe not, you know, but right now my heart says absolutely not. But that's an example, right? The city of Lynn Haven can function without an animal control if we support and provide resources and have a robust county-level animal control that handles the whole county, right? Our Lynn Haven plus Panama City and everything this side of the Hathaway Bridge. That's just an example of something. It's not a core cop, fire, you know, flushing toilets kind of service, which are the most fundamental core services that we have, but it's still part of who we are. So unfortunately, that's just one example of the kind of tough conversations we're going to have, who we are as a city and budget limitations and all that stuff. Thank y'all for that point. Any other comments in terms of this budget resolution, or excuse me, this research resolution for budgetary purposes that we're looking to direct to city staff? Okay. Hearing none, we got a motion and a second. City manager, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Warwick,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Mayor Lowry.
Yes, we have a 5-0. Thank y'all for that. The last thing up is a mission statement discussion. I was proposing that we change one word in the mission statement that's actually out on the wall out there from progressively to diligently. Progressively has a very distinct political connotation that I wanted to move the city away from. I want us to be much more professional and apolitical when it comes to that. Not everyone sees the word progressive as political, but it is very much a political term in the contemporary sense. So that was my proposal. You turn it to diligently, that implies honor, determination, and consistency, right? I think about core functions of municipal government being that honorable, consistent, straightforward, right? So that was my one word discussion change. The rest of it, as Ms. Hodges, our assistant city manager, explained, the department heads and the previous administration had come up with that. I think the rest of it's actually really good, but I wanted to move away from that one political term. So we mentioned this in our two budget workshops ago. And so everyone's heard about it before. We've discussed it. I wanted to kind of bring it back for a formality of a up or down. Now, if there's something else y'all want to change in that mission statement, I'm all for it. That was all the rage in the 90s and early 2000s. It's not so much now, but it's still fundamental to who we are, right? We as a core city, what is our core mission statement? Preserve and protect our residency, our way of life, provide core utilities, right? But how do we do that in one well thought out phrase? So that's what this mission statement is. Do y'all have any thoughts or recommendations on tweaking?
I do. I make a motion, we accept it. It makes perfect sense. We've got to move with the times, and your explanation to me makes perfect sense. Yeah, it's like we have to protect the people against themselves sometimes. You know, yes, I would make a motion, we accept the change.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else want to discuss or have a second to the motion? Commissioner Peebles, have you got some thoughts?
Yeah, do we need to make do anything before we have a discussion? I mean, I'll second it for discussion.
Well, thank you, but go ahead. Second, so CJ, we have a motion from Commissioner Tender and a second from Commissioner Peebles. Commissioner Peebles is going to discuss further.
My thing is, like, if we're gonna do it, might as well look at it real quick. Like you said, mission statements were all the rage in the 90s and 2000s. I think some of the other words, maybe we want to add, for example, in today's world, we're all about efficiency. So I would say, rather than just saying providing consistent and transparent customer service, maybe we say providing consistent, efficient, and transparent customer service. And then maybe we change the word enriching to maybe enhancing. That's a more up-to-date term. When I hear enriching, I think of watching a 1990s Disney movie or something. It just sounds kind of old to me. I don't know. I'm the youngest one up here, but I like the word enhancing better. The only reason I asked to pull was just so that we could, if we're going to change one thing, we might as well look at all of it and see if there's anything else we want to change.
Well, I'm all for the efficient being added as well. That's a fair as well as transparent. Efficiency works for me. Commissioner Perno, you got any thoughts, sir?
I think we got bigger fish to fry myself. But that's here nor there. There's a motion, a second. I'll give my vote.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second, and that was for changing my one word from progressively to diligently. Would y'all like to add the efficient? Would you like to amend your motion and second to add the word efficient also? I'm good with that.
Do I need to rescind mine first, technically, if she's going to modify it? All right. Do you have any intent to modify it? If I was to rescind it?
I like what you said too.
Okay, I'll rescind my second.
Can I get a re-second from you with change to diligently and add the word efficient?
Yes.
Thank you. You're going to re-second.
Sure, I'll re-second.
Thank you both for that. I appreciate the support. Commissioner Warwick, do you have any thoughts?
Well, so I guess I'm kind of confused because when you originally brought this up, the discussion went that we would have a workshop on this. And that's what my understanding was. There would be a workshop on this. So I'm kind of confused on why we're doing it now and not waiting for a workshop.
Well, and I'm sorry if I implied a workshop. I talked about this in a workshop with y'all. My key focus is I want to change the one very current political word in there that I think is inappropriate. If y'all want to overhaul the entire mission statement, I'm fine with that. But we need to set up a time to do so. I think the rest of it is good. And Ms. Hodges, when did y'all do that? It wasn't that long ago, 2 or 3 years ago, when you made that mission statement?
I'm sorry, Mayor. I wasn't here when the mission statement was.
Oh,
it was
Kiki. Ms. Roman, I'm sorry.
It was the first year I was here, so I'm going to say it was either in 2020 or 2021. And it was the directors, the then city manager, and we spent the better part of a day discussing it and coming to consensus with this wording.
So roughly 5 years old, give or take?
Yes. Mrs. Gaynor.
Thank you.
So the one word is what I want to change, and I don't want to spend a whole lot more time on this tonight, but I would like to go ahead and revise as it is current. And if y'all want to rework this part of a larger strategic meeting or how we set new goals for ourselves, especially in this brave new world we're going to be looking at financially, I am more than good with that. But for now,
Financially, how much is it going to cost?
sir,
How much is it going to cost to change the one word?
So that was going to be my question. So the quote to do it's about $5,000 to $7,500. There is not money in the budget for it at this time. So if you all pass this tonight, do we bring back a budget resolution to do this? Do we put a picture over it? We're not sure what. If it passes, what do you want us to do with it?
We're trying to save money.
Yeah, I mean, that's a
Spend
good
money.
point. I really didn't consider that. I'm not interested in spending any money.
so I'm not pushing to update this on the wall tonight. I realize the budgetary, but updating our official city mission statement is not cost prohibitive to do this. To update the wall display would be, and that can wait until a later date.
Yeah, to my knowledge, that's the only place it's displayed that I know of right offhand.
It might be on the website. I don't know for sure, but there would be no cost to
And
change it
any
there.
city documents. So, well, I'd like to go ahead and press forward with this revision now, realizing we don't have the money right now to update the wall. I will be curious though, because that actually is a wallpaper that's painted and then they bring in like a dot matrix grid printer and print on the wall. I literally wonder if it would cost $5 to $7 grand, or if we're looking at a few $100s to get that updated.
I've got the written proposal. I had the company come in.
We can look at that at a later time, but still, let's get it officially updated. If y'all are amenable, let's press ahead. So, we diligent.
Yes, what you said and what you said.
So,
Yep.
so the diligently
Diligently enhancing our community's quality of life by providing consistent, efficient, and transparent customer service to our residents.
Yes.
got that, CJ?
So enhancing replaces enriching.
Yes.
I'm fine with that. All right. Any comments? Okay, we got 3. I saw Mr. Langford, then Mr. Scray, and then Ms. Bashir.
I'm not too concerned about the what as far as the words as much as I am the how. I'll volunteer tonight to donate a gallon of paint and paint the wall out here and print out that wording that y'all came up with, put it in a picture frame and hang it up out here. I went back and I looked at the strategic meeting. There was a lot of discussion. It wasn't just about this wall, about the other one. And one of the best quotes out of that whole meeting, I think it was Miss Kiki that said it. This is City Hall. It was either Miss Kiki or Miss Jennifer Warren. So this City Hall, it's not a museum. All right. So, you know, what we decide to do we need to spend $7,000 to bring in a printer out here and print that wall? Absolutely not. Let's paint over the daggum wall, put it in a picture frame, and hang it up out there. So in 10 years, when somebody else wants to change the mission statement or whatever it is we want to do, you take that picture out of that picture frame and put a new one in there, and we press on with life.
Yeehaw.
That's what I'm talking about is doing things smart. We already know how much it cost us to be in this monstrosity of a building right now. We don't need to add to it. That's where I'm at with it.
I agree with you 150%.
And that's actually a good point for us to look at. I'd rather paint over the wall if need be than do the other. And we can discuss that at a different time. All right, Mr. Scray.
So there was a student named Tim that he worked diligently. He studied his notes before every exam. He took painstaking care to take notes. He was very prideful of his work. You know, his peers described him as hardworking and thorough. His teacher said he always paid close attention. That's why everybody was confused when he graduated with a 1.67 GPA. But darn, he was diligent. Diligence does not describe anything more than how you do something. It does not mean improvement. It does not mean certain outcomes. Tim graduated with a 1.67, but by golly, he was diligent. Is that really what we're here to do? Is to get just lost in all of these little things? I get little things add up to big things, but is this really the priority, Mayor? Is this really that? Let me finish after my two
people.
Point of order, sir. I have
people.
time to talk, and you can talk
Stand down,
after.
Sir. No. I chair this meeting.
This is disrespectful.
When I
if
start
you're not going to allow me to finish,
stop talking.
I'm going to continue my time.
Are we clear?
No, I'm going to continue my time.
Deputy Chief.
The whole point of this is that these are not the issues that are important to us right now. We need to be focused on the bigger things like bringing in revenue for the city.
You need to be respectful when the chair starts talking.
Why are you
stop
infringing on my free speech? This is protected by law. If you don't like what I have to say, that's
you
fine.
You administer
but
to the chair,
or
you step back.
May I finish my time?
No, you may not.
Okay, thank you.
Deputy Chief, escort him out of the building, please. You need to go with the Deputy Police Chief, Mr. Scray. You were disrespectful and disorderly. Goodbye, sir. Ms. Bashir.
So progressively was first used in 1612, according to Merriam. In 5 years, is this word going to be out of style? I just don't see the point in picking a word and changing it. I don't see the point. And I mean, 1612 is a long history. You can go through and read the whole definition of what progressively means. And it's just been used recently for political party. But I just don't think that's what we need to focus on. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bashir. All right. With that, Mr. Hines, come on up. Good evening, sir.
You are the chair of the meeting.
Yes,
the
sir.
Chamber. Long before you was born, everybody was given the free right of speech. The gentleman was speaking his idea or his issue, and you tried to interrupt him and tell him he couldn't do it. That was a violation of his rights. If you don't know that, you may not be in the seat that you're in. We talked before about the way you became the mayor. What just happened, I don't agree with, and I don't think it's right. You owe him an apology because he had 3 minutes, because that's your rule, not his rule. He don't have to agree with you to get his point across. You don't have to agree with him to get his point across. Politics is when you get elected. Once you get elected, you become neutral, supposedly. That word has been used for hundreds of years, progressive. Last 10 years, they want to make it political, which is really not. It's just a word. Your interpretation of the word and someone else's interpretation of the word is just the way life is. So I think that you need to talk to Mr. Scray and give him an apology. And everyone has the right to speak, and that's why we come here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hines. All right, with that, City Manager, are there any more comments regarding the word change in the mission statement before we proceed to vote? Hearing none. City Manager, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
No.
Commissioner Perno,
No.
Commissioner Warwick,
No.
Mayor Lowry.
Yes. All right. Well, now we're down to public commentary. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. First one up, I'm sorry, Joe, looks like Bidell, Joe Bidell. Come on up, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Apologies, this is my first ever attending anything like this. And fairly interesting so far, but I will say, as my first time in something like this, just because somebody disagrees with you, you don't have to kick them out.
Just got to lean into the mic.
How about now?
Yeah, that's good.
Sorry. This is my first ever meeting, and I appreciate you doing this. But just because somebody disagrees with you doesn't mean you can kick them out over something like that. I understand there's rules of decorum and all, but that's the man's First Amendment rights. I think it's kind of wrong. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, can I ask Mr. Bidell a question? Can I ask you a question? If you don't mind, I don't want to put you on the spot since it's your first meeting, but I'm real anxious to know what motivated you to come to tonight's meeting since it's your first meeting.
It was 11, object 11 on the form, the AI data center.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to see what your thoughts and opinions on the entirety of it were, and I do appreciate you putting it on there to bring it up. Thank you.
Awesome.
Well, while you're here and you have your 3 minutes, for sure, is there anything you want to share your thoughts-wise with the commission?
No, I do think you're doing the right thing, putting a temporary halt to the AI idea. Just, I haven't seen any place built AI-wise in the past 2 years that hasn't completely decimated the environment that they put it in. Not only for the people that live there, but for the actual nature and the animals and everything else. I thank you for putting that in there to keep us safe and everything. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Corey Langford.
Thank you. So I've been following what's been going on in Jackson County with this AI stuff pretty closely. And this just came out, at least they just posted it on their Facebook 2 hours ago. So y'all may not have seen it. But initially, Jackson County, they went for the 1 year moratorium. Well, they actually came back today and they said, hey, this is crazy. Let's just ban it altogether. We don't have to wait a year. We don't have to wait. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off, put it in our comp plan, and let's just strike it now, saying you can't do this in Jackson County. So I support the moratorium, obviously, but I think you can go a step further and say, hey, let's just update our ULDC or our comp plan or both or whatever it is we need to do and say, no, you can't do it in Lynn Haven. On that same notion, we've been talking about comp plan and the ULDC now for quite some time about how it needs to be updated. I just so happen to sit on the charter committee, and we're deep diving into the charter. Obviously, y'all might want to consider having a committee to update the ULDC and comp plan. It's going to be a long process, and y'all need people that can go into this to the depths that it needs to be gone into, and that's going to take an extensive period of time. And not saying that I don't think y'all can do it. I just think that if that committee kind of did what we're doing with the charter, y'all might be able to get a little bit better product. That's all I'm saying, but just something to consider. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Mr. Kobe, I'm sorry, Allen, or maybe that's a K, Keeling. Mr. Colby. Okay, no Mr. Colby. I have a Garrett DiCello. One of them. And then I have a Maya Moats. Okay. Those three folks are no longer here. I'll open the floor for any general public commentary tonight from any of our other citizens here tonight. Anyone else like to speak? Come on up, ma'am. Good evening. One of our regulars.
My name is Susan Hines, and I just wanted to say I live in Lynn Haven, and from the times that I've been here and come to these meetings, I'm amazed at the work that you all do and how sometimes you don't get credit. Sometimes you get credit when credit really wasn't due, but you've always been for the people, and I just want to tell you thank you. I'm overwhelmed by the willingness that you have to serve your community. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Bashir, come on up. Good evening.
Good evening. Just one quick word on the data center thing, moratorium. You said there's no place in Lynn Haven really big enough to house a data center. That precludes us growing. I assume Lynn Haven's going to want to grow. So it is something that needs to be considered, that at some point in the future, you may have room for a data center, so it does need to be addressed. Thank you.
Excellent point, Mr. Bashir, especially if we extend north in any direction or northeast, northwest. Very good point. All right. Anything else tonight? Come on up, ma'am. Good evening.
I have a question. I just would like it explained a little more thorough. With the 1-year
moratorium?
Yes, with that, didn't you just say that you have to have that so that you are able to do the ban? Is that what could you explain that to me? Because you kind of made it, it kind of came off as a city, we cannot do a ban unless we do the 1 year. But I know that Jackson County didn't do the 1 year. And they stepped up and said, no, we banned it here. We don't want it here. So aren't we able, or maybe I just need it explained. Do we have to have it before, because I believe it was you that had said it earlier in tonight's meeting.
City Attorney, can you answer her question?
Yes, sir. So
I'm just confused and would like it explained.
So
Yes,
any
ma'am.
kind of ban of the use of a particular type of property is restricting property rights, which requires this constitutional issues with that. Anytime a government is restricting a person or a company's property rights. And so before they undertake an outright ban or restriction, generally you want to have a study, you want to look at the issue and see how it applies to the city, have a rational basis for the decision that supports the decision that you're making. And so the purpose of a moratorium is to put potential applicants on notice that there's somebody that wants to apply to have a data center here, that, hey, we're going to stop any kind of permit approval of a data center, which might be permitted now, it's unclear, until we study this issue and see how it affects the city and the infrastructure and all the other issues that might come up from that. And so the risk you run if you just go to a straight permanent ban is that you may impinge upon the due process of the people who might apply for those things. So generally what you want to do is have a moratorium to put people on notice, study the issue, and then come back with the results. The commission can then make a policy decision about how they want to handle that. And that may be too
But the ability is there for the city to say, we don't want it, correct? We don't need to wait the year. I was in Jackson County a few weeks ago. I was surprised not enough people came here tonight. There were over 200 people. We couldn't even get into the city council meeting. People had to tape it and we had to watch it outside. It's very peaceful, but we care about what it will destroy. And in the small amount of time that I have seen Lynn Haven grow, I can't even believe you all wouldn't just step up to the plate and follow suit, not wait a year, waiting on what Bay County wants to do. Because what a data center would take away from this city would destroy everything you've worked so hard to put in.
Well, in point of clarification, ma'am, when I talked to the individual Bay County commissioners, I told them I wanted to propose this for Lynn Haven. They said they were looking at a county version of this. So my question to them was, well, I don't want to be disrespectful of y'all, but I want to do a city one. And they said, go ahead. The individuals that I spoke to said it wouldn't impact us. But now if they were to do a county-wide one on top of our city one, well, we're just double covered then, right?
Correct, but wouldn't it make quite a statement if Lynn Haven went ahead and did the ban and said, Bay County, we're stepping up first, not our city?
And that's what we're looking to do. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I think I could add something to that. To add
Parker, come on up.
Well, I think I can add something that may add why the moratoriums are a thing. If you kind of let's look at like our development orders, for example. If let's just say a random, I don't know, a gas station came in and wanted to develop, it's well within our right to say no. But if we do, it's virtually guaranteed that they're just going to sue us because it's well within their rights to do it. They'll win, then they get to build. So if we do the moratorium, we'll have the data and the evidence behind it to prove why we're saying no. Just because we ban something doesn't actually truly prevent it from happening. I get what you're saying, though, is like you're making a statement, absolutely. But the moratorium would be more of like a step of protection from being sued later, because we'd have data to prove why we don't want it, rather than just saying we don't want it.
Good evening, Ms. Parker.
Gary Parker, Lynn Haven. The AI that the data centers, they don't need to be here. They don't need to be in Bay County. I'm sorry. I don't think Lynn Haven needs it at all, even with the moratorium. The other thing that's concerning is also the flock camera situation. That needs to be heavily discussed with this commission. It is starting to become very concerning of citizens being targeted. There's 20,000 hits in a count in a city of 22,000, 24,000? That's a lot of hits, guys. So we need to look at the flock situation as well. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Schweitzer, are you coming up? Good evening.
Good. I'm a little worn out, but that word triggers me. So I got a little extra energy. I was about to fall asleep back there. But I was looking at the and listening to the budget meeting that you guys had, and it dawned on me that in the general fund, you could cut almost $100,000 a year out of the general fund if you delinked us from Bayrock and stopped paying the leasing fees for Flock. So I think if you start with that, all of your other problems are going to be easy. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the budget recommendation. $100,000 is not chump change. All right. Anything else tonight?
Can I double check something?
Yes, ma'am.
And I think I talked to Kiki about this. Do we pay $12,500 a month?
No,
A year.
A year, 12,500 a year.
Okay, so where does the 100,000 come in? As far
$6,000 a month for what, sir?
who charges this?
Come on back up for a minute. You threw out a budget grenade and then you ran. Come on back.
Way I understand is we have 5 cameras. Each camera is $12,500 a year.
She says all of them.
Altogether, it's $12,500.
$12,500 a year.
But for those who don't know, all of the flock cameras in Bay County are integrated at Bayrock. And the system that does that is Fusus, from what I understand. I might be wrong, but that's what was presented in front of the commission by Deputy Chief Infinger. So that is, well, what is that? 72,000 a year, 6,000 a month. Yeah, 72,000 plus 12.5 what, 85, about 80, so I call it $100,000 just because it sounds better. So that's my proposition. And I'm even willing to give up James E. Rogers Park. Just leave it, just mow it. But I really feel, it's kind of like when you're taught at church to pay your tithing first and everything else kind of takes its course. I think that's what you guys will find out. Cut flock, cut fusus, and everything else will just magically improve.
Thank you. Former President George W. Bush used to have a term for that, Mr. Schweitzer. He called it fuzzy math, 85 to 100, but I hear you. All right. Anything else tonight? Come on up, sir.
Aaron White, I'm at 1515 Country Club. I also serve on the Planning Commission, and I just wanted to comment that Ms. Gina has already been ahead of encouraging all of us to take a deep dive into the UDLC and the comprehensive plan. We've actually started planning some workshops. So thanks, Ms. Gina, for kind of spearheading that. And so our committee now, we have several new members, and we're all very energetic to help support that. So I'm sure there'll be some good collaboration. So that's all I want to say.
Well, sir,
Thank you.
Before
Appreciate
you
that.
leave, thank you for what you do for our city volunteerism wise. And second, please take back to your committee that this commission and the new mayor in particular is looking for y'all to help. And you can use the reference that I made about the cooks in the kitchen, right? Y'all support Miss Grand Prix as much as you can. Collaborate with her. You ladies and gentlemen are on that commission or that board committee for a reason. You bring expertise to that as well as your Lynn Haven citizens with a volunteer spirit. When she says y'all jump in, y'all huddle, you do the very best you can with that. And we look forward to getting your inputs in that to make this process and the ULDC better, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Any other comments before we wrap up tonight? It is 7:04, and hearing none others, we'll do our reports and we'll close up. I'm going to pass on the mayor's report. Happy to be here and proud to serve. A lot of budget work to forthcome. We'll start on the left with Commissioner Perno and work our way to the right with Miss Tender.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have much to report without expressing gratitude for everybody who's here. Thank y'all, and thank you to our employees and our first responders, and and our military. And I just wanted to say a couple things just real quickly. I know that y'all, I'm a sports guy, and the World Cup starts on Thursday, and the United States has got a legitimate shot at coming out of pool play and being into the mix. So if you wanted to, I'm not saying go anywhere and watch it. Just support the United States soccer team, please. They need all your help. All right, because there's a lot of big boys out there who've been playing soccer a long time that can kick them around a little bit, and it's also the World Cup. If you didn't know, is being played in North America, so it could be played in Miami, it could be played in Washington, it could be played in New York City. So that that creates a little fervor for a team from there. And even in Mexico and Canada, there's games all over. It starts June 11th to July 19th. So we'll just wish the best for America. And the other thing I had, and Mr. Lightfoot, I'm not trying to bamboozle you here, but I talked to a citizen today, and you know who it is when I mention the road. At Vermont and 12th, we've got we got cars parking against the right of way. They park in the opposite direction. We've got several issues over there, and I thought if we made us a city sweep and we started in that area with the way cars park, and there is, I'll tell you, one of these other points is these e-bikes. They're not being driven in the bike lanes on the major thoroughfares. They're being driven on the sidewalks, and so a lot of people use the sidewalks on 77. All the handicapped people use the sidewalks on 77, and 390. And these e-bikes aren't like regular bicycles anymore, man. Those suckers are fast. People are going 35 miles an hour on a bicycle. And it hurts them. They get injured hitting cars and stuff, and those injuries are up and everything. We talked about it at a workshop, but it's at a point now where I saw it today. You know, it just jumped out at me like they need to be adhering to the bike lanes. And I'm not trying to create more work for the police officers or not. I'm just trying to echo the voice of a citizen and the concerns that I see. And that's all I have. And again, thank you to everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Peebles.
Thank you, Mayor. So I don't remember if I brought this up yet already or not, but at our last TPO meeting that we were at, I believe that was in between this meeting and the last meeting, one shout out that I wanted to give to our staff was that Bayway has now created a car wash for government vehicles, and it's crazy cheap. It's like $6 to $8 per wash or something, which is way cheaper than it would take in man hours to wash, way cheaper than if you took it somewhere else. And Lynn Haven was the first city in the county to utilize it. So we've saved a ton of money by doing that. That was not my idea. I'm just passing on the information. Thank you to whoever that was in staff. I'm assuming it was either Mr. Lightfoot or Mr. Janke, because they're involved with TPO a little bit. May have been someone else, but whoever it was, thank you for that. You're saving us money. It's great. Another thing I want to bring up is I want to say a special shout out to Captain Blaylock and the police department. They took myself and my children on a tour today of the entire police department. My kids loved it. We learned a lot, and we got to see how everything's utilized. I mean, I've taken a tour before, but not to that extent. I mean, I think we saw literally every inch of it. And even to, the weight room and stuff, to see one of the SWAT members the dude can bench press 335 pounds, okay? That's a lot. But anyways, it was fantastic. So thank you. Something my children will remember forever. And I learned a lot too. One other thing I wanted to bring up is, and I did talk to the city manager about this a little bit. We have talked a lot on the budget side of how to save money. One thing I also want to focus on is how we can bring in more revenue, which is kind of something we've already talked about a little bit about the fee schedule. But one thing that I really want to get back into is revamping the community services advisory board, because the board is still technically active. The last meeting minutes was in 2024, but if we can revamp that into focusing more on where we can get sponsorships, how we can raise money without taxpayer dollars. I know that there's a lot of people that want to help. Some people are already on that board, but
that was a great board, by the way. And I went to several meetings because we did have good citizen input on design for rebuilding our parks.
Okay.
So it was a vital, and I think because we got our parks open, the board kind of faded off a little bit.
Okay.
So if we're redoing chapter 42 or moving on in certain, it might be something we need to.
Yeah.
We need to ask our citizens to help participate in again.
Yeah, and I've already had people reach out to me saying they want to get involved. So I'm excited about that. I think it's a way we can help raise funds for, in a hard budget season, we got to find ways to raise money. Like last budget season, unfortunately, we had to cut trunk or treat and the Easter egg hunt. If we're able to get funds for those, why not do them? And there's people out there in our community that is way better at raising money than I am, and they want to get involved. So let's let them. I think that their information and their expertise is essential to, especially municipality, as most of you regulars know. Very little of our actual budget is through the general fund and property taxes. Most of the time, a city is ran on grants and donations. And so we need to get back on the wagon of letting people be involved, and I think that's a really good place to start. With that, that's the rest of my report. Thanks to staff and thanks to Parks and Rec and sports for what they do. I got children, and they've been doing a great job. I'm around all those areas all the time, so I see firsthand. So thank you for what you do. And as always, and one more thing. One thing that really stuck out to me in the police department, if you ever get a chance to see it, ask for, if you can, The dispatch room is amazing. You walk in there and it's like, so like when we were in the trailer, they were like cooped up like in this little tiny room. You go in there now and it's like, you can look around like this and there's screens everywhere. They've got 2 people ready to take any calls. I was in there for 10 minutes and I think there was multiple calls made in that short period of time. Dispatchers are going, there's screens everywhere. It's just like it is in the movies. It's awesome. But all right, that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Ward.
Yes, so I actually had the pleasure of representing Lynn Haven at the Bay County League of Cities dinner last night, where we had the base commander, Colonel Burkholt, give us a briefing of what's going on out there. He discussed the growth of the F-35 mission out there, the rebuilding efforts that are underway ever since Hurricane Michael, and the significant impact that's on our local economy. And some of the statistics that kind of stood out to me was the economic impact was about approximately $1.3 billion. And they support more than 16,000 military members, civilians, retirees, and family members throughout our region. And then we got on the discussion about base housing, and that was one of the questions I had, what base housing was before Hurricane Michael and what's it look like in the future. And before Hurricane Michael, Tyndall had 900 base housing units. After it's all done, they're projected to have 600 units. So they're going to actually have a third less of the housing what they had before Hurricane Michael. So that's going to create some opportunities and challenges for our community. So it was very informational and a lot of good information. So I actually have a presentation I'd like to go over tonight. Before I do get in the presentation, I just want to set a clear expectation. This conversation is not about winning an argument or advancing anyone's agenda. It's about protecting the structure of our government so that every commissioner, present and future, operates under the same stable framework. A city charter is our foundation. It defines who has authority, how our government is organized, and where accountability sits. Those elements should remain steady regardless of who occupies these seats. Policies, on the other hand, are the tools we use to govern day to day. They need to be flexible, adjustable, and responsive to changing circumstances. So the purpose of this presentation is simple: to make sure we're not putting operational rules into a document that's meant to define the framework of government. It's about ensuring that our charter remains a stable, non-political foundation, something every commissioner can rely on, no matter how divided we may be on individual issues. And so the purpose of the discussion is to establish a common understanding of the difference between governmental structure and operational policy. The goal is not necessarily for everyone to agree on every example. The goal is to provide a consistent method for evaluating future charter proposals. A city charter is often described as a municipality's constitution. A constitution generally does not tell employees how to perform their job. Instead, it establishes the framework under which government operates. It defines authority, accountability, powers, duties, and organizational structure. And understanding home rule is important because it helps explain what a charter does and does not do. Historically, local governments could only exercise powers specifically granted by the state. Florida eventually adopted broad home rule authority. Today, municipalities generally possess broad powers unless those powers are restricted by the Florida Constitution, state law, or the city's charter. Because municipalities already possess broad home rule authority, a charter is not primarily about granting powers. Instead, it is primarily about organizing authority, assigning accountability, establishing government structure, and in some cases, limiting government authority. Instead, it is primarily about organizing authority, assigning accountability, establishing government structure, and in some cases, limiting government authority. This distinction is important because it helps explain why some charter provisions deal with government framework while others begin to look more like operational policy. Oops. That went too far. All right. I did it again. When thinking of charter provisions, it's generally thought about in 5 categories: structure, authority, accountability, elections, powers and duties. These are the building blocks of governmental framework. A charter typically answers questions such as who governs, who appoints, who removes, how are officials elected, what powers do various officials possess. These are structural questions. Policy is different. Policy generally governs procedures, processes, standards, and operations. Policy focuses on how government carries out its responsibilities. This slide summarizes the distinction. Government framework answers who decides. Policy answers how are decisions carried out. One of the most important concepts tonight is this. The question is not whether something is important. The question is whether it defines the framework of government. So when evaluating a proposal, you should ask these questions. Does it define who has authority? Does it organize government? Or does it establish accountability? If the answer is yes, then it would be classified as government framework. If it described the procedure, then it would most likely classify in policies. These questions help us determine whether something looks more like framework or policy. These are examples commonly found in municipal charters. Each of these directly affects government structure. And these examples commonly addressed through ordinances, resolution, policies, or administrative procedures. These provisions tell government how to operate. As we go through some examples, I encourage everyone to think about these 4 questions. These are risks when operational policies are placed in charters. Policies often need adjustment, technology changes, best practice changes, operational needs change. Charters are intentionally difficult to amend. That stability is a strength for government framework, but can become a challenge for operational procedures. Government framework should generally endure, meaning it provides a permanent foundation of core values, rights, and foundational structure. Policy should generally adapt to changing circumstances, technology, and community needs. A charter should provide stability, while policy should provide flexibility. As we move into examples, I want everyone to consider one question. Does the provision define government power, or does it direct government operations? So these examples are not things that I'm proposing. These are just examples just to go through this exercise. So I don't want anybody to think that I got these ideas in my head. So first one is the city manager shall be appointed by a majority vote of the city commission, may be removed by a majority vote of the city commission. So I would ask Commissioner Perno, would you consider that government framework or policy? And I got the questions up there so you can kind of look at them. You would consider that framework? I would agree. I would classify this as government framework because it defines authority, accountability, and the relationship between the commission and the city manager. Second one, municipal elections should be held in April of odd number of years. Commissioner Peebles, you think that's government framework or policy?
I would say that would fall under framework.
I would agree. I would classify this as government framework also because it affects voter representation and government structure. City clerk shall be appointed by and served at the pleasure of the city commission. Commissioner Pinder, you think that'd be government framework or policy? Do you think?
I definitely.
Well, that's fine to agree, but do you think it's government framework or do you think that would be policy? Because if it's government framework, it would belong in the charter. Right. If it's policy, it would be ordinance, resolution, something like that. Government. So I would agree with that too. So I would qualify this as government framework also because it changes authority and reporting relationships. The mayor shall preside over all meetings of the city commission, shall possess veto authority over ordinances adopted by the commission. Mayor Lowry, would you consider this government framework or policy?
framework. It describes function.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. All purchases exceeding $50,000 should be discussed at 2 regular meetings before approval. Commissioner Pernell, you think that would be government framework or policy? I would agree with that. Absolutely. It doesn't change authority. It simply prescribes the process. All public comment speakers shall be permitted 3 minutes to address the city commission. Commissioner Peebles, you think this would be government framework or policy?
That is definitely policy.
Yep, I would agree. The commission may decide tomorrow that 5 minutes is better than 3. Should that require a citywide referendum? I would say no. The city manager should provide a written report to the city commission each month detailing all purchases over $10,000. Commissioner Tin, do you think that would be framework or policy? Yep, I would agree. Because it establishes an administrative reporting process. The city shall maintain at least 5 police officers on patrol during every shift. Mayor Lowry, would you consider that government framework or policy?
Policy.
I would agree. And this is a good one because it is important, affects public safety, but again, importance alone does not make something charter material. The police department shall maintain accreditation through a recognized law enforcement accrediting body. Commissioner Peebles, you think this government framework or policy?
This one's actually kind of difficult, to be honest with you.
It is.
Yeah. I think that, because that depends on if it's a law or not.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this leans more towards the policy side of things.
Okay. I put this one in intentionally because it is difficult. Reasonable people can disagree. Some may view accreditation as accountability mechanism. Others may view it as an operational requirement. The purpose is not to find a right answer. The purpose is to demonstrate that not every issue fits neatly in one category. Almost everything we discuss is important. The question is not, is this important? The question is, does this define government framework? Those are 2 very different questions. At the end of the day, we all want the same thing, a government that works, a structure that's fair, and a charter that doesn't change every time personalities or priorities shift. The test we discussed tonight is straightforward. If removing a provision tomorrow would not change the structure of Lynn Haven's government, then it belongs in policy, not in the charter. That principle protects all of us. It protects future commissions, and most importantly, it protects the residents who expect stability from their government. At the end of the day, I think it comes down to 2 simple questions. Does it define the framework of government, or does it direct how government operates? That distinction should guide our analysis. A strong charter protects the framework of government. Strong policies allow us to govern effectively within that framework. Both matter, both are essential, but they serve different purposes, and our responsibility is to keep those purposes clear. Good governance requires a charter that endures and policies that adapt. Our job is to honor that balance. If we keep that balance clear, we strengthen the institution, not just the moment. My goal tonight isn't to tell anyone how to vote on any upcoming proposals. My goal is simply to give us a framework that helps us to evaluate future charter amendments consistently and thoughtfully. And with that, that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Warwick. Commissioner Tender, last but certainly not least, ma'am.
Okay, is anybody still here? A few people. Okay. And for the sake of transparency, this is my first question. And if I miss this, I apologize because of being out. Where are we with the lawsuit with James Finch against the city? Where is that standing right now?
We'll have a...
Hold it. What do you mean we can't talk about it? We approved it. Has he been paid or what?
There will be a settlement resolution brought before the commission June 23rd.
So next meeting, right? Is that next meeting, June 23rd? Okay, I was just curious about that. I saw he was here and then he left. That was one thing I wanted to know for the sake of being transparent. Commissioner Peoples, I thought we had talked, or you had talked, and I'm just clarifying this for me too. Were you talking about having the concerts in the park sponsored by local businesses?
That was just an example of something we can do, yeah.
Because they're fairly expensive, aren't they? What do we pay for a concert in the park?
The
city.
Artists can run from $500 to $2,000. There are audiovisual costs that vary dependent upon what equipment is needed. I cannot give you an estimate of what the overtime costs are for police and fire.
Yeah, okay.
Primarily, the hard costs are the artists themselves.
Yeah, okay. That was just another question I had because I thought you had discussed it. And I think there's a lot of places that we can get other people to sponsor to save a little money. But I could penny to death everybody. You know what I'm saying? $100 here, $100 there. But I know we're looking for big money. And if I could ask you, Kiki, can you clarify for me one more time the cost of flock?
$12,500 per year.
Per year. And did you understand Mr. Switzer? He's already left. Did you understand his explanation of 72,000? Where did that come from?
I did not. I was hoping to reach him before he left the building. Okay. If he gives me a vendor name, I can certainly look it up for him, but I was unfamiliar with what he was referencing.
Okay. So I'll just check with him too and see what the deal is there. I just feel like, I don't even know if I should say this. I'm already being sued, so what the heck? Let's go for it. Just like this lobby out here. When that lobby was all done, I learned about that from a customer who walked into the cafe and said, "Oh, have you seen the new lobby?" I go, "No, what are you talking about?" "Oh, we've got photographs. We've got all kinds of stuff." I said, "No, I don't know anything about it." And I truly did not. Now, I can miss things. I'll be the first to admit that. My head goes in too many directions, but I agree with Corey 300%. Let's paint over the whole darn lobby and not have it be about certain people. If we want a wall to, a lot of people in this city have dedicated a lot of time to things that go on here. So let's give them a wall somewhere and put their photographs up just like we have our past mayors and put what our mission is in a frame so it can be changed if it gets changed. I think some things are so important to us as individuals and other things are not. Now, I spent my day today on the phone talking about Mowat Highlands, Comcast, digging up water in people's yards and things like that. I listened, but I got nowhere as far as, I don't think it's acceptable. And yet we have no control over Comcast. And I assume it was Comcast's employees. The people that were out there doing the work didn't speak English. And so when homeowners were coming out asking what's going on here, the person says here and hands them a telephone because he can't speak English. There's just certain things that I think we can protect our residents from that maybe we're not. And I don't know if we're not doing it intentionally, but maybe we should look into things like that. Things that, I said it before, but alcohol at ball games for kids and stuff like that. I do understand the last city manager, Miss Gaynor, you had to pay, it was hundreds of dollars for a permit to have a party at your house. You had to come in and get a permit. You had to list what food you were serving, what kind of alcohol you were serving, was there plenty of parking, and if there was going to be music. And you paid for that permit in order to have a party at your house. I'm assuming that's gone. I haven't heard anybody complain about it lately.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, really? Oh, I saw it happen on my street. Matter of fact, the police department came down to my street because they had both sides of the street with cars parked that were attending a party. So maybe she just implemented it and nobody ever did it. I don't know. But anyway, I just feel like all the wishy-washy, and this is me speaking, being housebound for way too long. All the wishy-washy stuff that I might think is wishy-washy that we talk about and whatnot. This is our group of people who want to hear right to the bitter end, right here, 12. And I think we need to get in touch with what is important. You know, I know more about Corey Langsford's garden he's planting than I do half of what we talked about. The audio is a real issue here when you call in, and I hate that I had to. So I would have been here if they would have had to carry me tonight. But and Dave, I know you look like you feel bad, but you're a nice person. You're a good man, and we all have our breaking points, and we all have a limit where our temper will kick in. Mine does. I don't think I've really displayed it here, but try to be good. Anyway, I don't really have a report. I'm thrilled to be back, and but I want to do good. I don't want to just come and spend 2 hours, you know, doing whatever. We're only paid $511. I mean, it's not like I'm getting rich being up here, unless you guys know somebody good to invest our money with. But I'm glad to be back, and thank you for everybody's support. And I welcome the emails. I welcome the phone calls. If I can do something about it, I will always try. And if I can't, I just have to tell you, I can't, or this is what I did, and that's where it ends. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I was glad to give you a big hug. Glad to have you back tonight, and you
Thank
look
you.
great. You look like you feel a lot better.
Oh, I feel a lot better, yeah. I got a few more weeks to go, and that's it.
That's awesome. City manager.
Nothing to report, just a shout out to staff. Just reminder of appreciate everything they do. There's a lot of tough conversations that's going to happen the next few months, and their work doesn't go unnoticed, and they are definitely underappreciated for what they go through and what they do. Any questions for Ms. Roman on the check report?
We're going to have lots of questions and lots of discussions. I think Mr. Langford hit a gut punch earlier in some of his comments, and that's pretty dead on. You're going to be a very popular person for probably very unpopular reasons, but thank you for what you do and what you're going to do as we try to plow through this budget season.
Thank you. It's absolutely my pleasure. I am encouraged, again, that we are starting so early in the season because there are so many challenges in front of us. We need time to come to consensus of what changes will be put into place for next year's budget. And I think we've got enough time to do that.
And I don't know if I'm adding on to yours or whatever, but I know, and I don't remember when this happened, but I felt like we were promised a list of employees.
Mr. Commissioner Turner, I believe you're referring to the salary study.
Yes.
It is not complete yet. It's about 75% done, according to their latest report. And once it's done, we will provide that to the commission.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. So nothing else, city manager? City attorney, our caboose, last but certainly not least.
No report, Mayor.
All right. Well, thank y'all. It's been a long meeting, but y'all have a good night.